Does anyone feel like they've struggled with their weight or...
Oh, I stacked it on.
Really?
I stacked it on.
Because I have a lot of sex with a lot of Deliveroo and Uber Eats drivers.
Remember the Chicken King, and that was where everyone would go. So you go in there, but Cheryl Hall had her own booth.
My surgeon said that they had to have more Botox literally shipped in because so many people had gone like...
For you?
Hello, welcome to the first episode of Loosely Baked. I'm your host, Bunny Galore, and joining me on the show today is Vanity Von Glow, Ophelia Love, Mahatma Khandi, and Kitty Scott-Claus. Gunning me up on the show today, well, with students in lockdown maybe for Christmas, I'm going to ask the girls, what would they break curfew for? I can't wait to find the answer to that one. And also, in this year of self-reappraisal, have anybody actually considered having plastic surgery? And let's find out if any of the loosely baked divas have gone under the knife. And also, in this darkest year of 2020, who has watched the 75 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race? We'll be discussing season 12 of Drag Race, as well as All Stars and a Celebrity Drag Race, and Canada's Drag Race, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, Holland, that's it. All coming up on the show today. Well, girls, has everybody had a lovely 2020 so far?
Delight.
I mean, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, baked potato. That's all I can say about this year. So, with all these students, the threat of lockdown, they can't go out. What would you do if you were in lockdown again right now, but you literally had a curfew and you couldn't go out? What would you sneak out to get? I suppose mine, obviously, would be, just some water, because, I'm just dieting at the moment.
It's important to stay hydrated, especially at your age, Bunny.
Exactly, yes.
I have to say I feel terrible for the students because they're all locked up in their individual bedrooms. But I feel even more sorry for myself because the young men of the Freshers' Fair, that's about 60% of my sex life. So it's been a slow September, and I'm wishing that they were here with us.
That's obviously your sex life in your mind, right? An actual sex life.
I have moved beyond an actual sex life.
Okay.
It is purely conceptual for me at this stage. I download an erotic fiction to my brain. That's about all I'm allowed, yeah, of course. Because we're not allowed to have sex with strangers, are we?
We can wear a mask,
and that was
you?
all I was getting. So.
Would you wear a mask to have sex?
Well, I wouldn't know.
Latex, obviously.
Aren't you wearing one right now, Kitty?
How about you, Ophelia? What would you sneak out to get, do you think?
Probably food. Not like. I'm not talking like, oh, Mom's put a pack of rice in the fridge. But if it was in the fridge, yeah, she's put a pack of rice in the fridge. No, but don't look at me like that. I just sometimes you just fancy a big dinner, don't you? Like, you've not cooked yourself. You want to have a nice meal. But
What about Deliveroo and Uber Eats?
Yes, but they've got to drop it at the door and then back away slowly.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, my answer is a combination of the two, because I have a lot of sex with a lot of Deliveroo and Uber Eats drivers. So it's kind of like I would sneak out outside my front door to get my food and then have sex with them.
It's outside. It's a kind of tip.
Outside my door.
In a way,
Yeah.
What if they're backing
It's like
away
a
from
hallway. Well, I will
They put the food down.
I will front my way towards them.
It's like a lasso.
I'll just be like, well, can I have my food, please? And then, sorry, excuse me. And then it happens. So
is there a box you can take on your delivery order where you can order an extra side of...
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I don't tick it, but apparently I am.
you're taking a lot of boxes for them.
Actually, talking of food, girls, it has been a struggle during lockdown. Does anyone feel like they've struggled with their weight?
Oh, I stacked it on.
Really?
I stacked it on.
Doesn't show.
Right, because I've got a corset on. I fully stacked it on. I tried to put on a pair of jeans and I was like, woo, that's different. They're not how they fit how they used to. So ASOS got a lovely order from me with a size up. They were very happy.
The maternity section. elasticated
Keep
waistbands.
eating. The eating pants. No, but I feel like it was weird though, because I was actually eating healthier probably, because obviously when ladies of the night, not in that way, ladies of the evening, we go to,
I thought you looked at Vanity at that.
yeah, well, no, she's ladies of the night and the evening, and the morning,
I'm a
and the
lady
day.
at 4 in the morning.
We do have weird schedules to eat, because you sometimes don't want to eat when you've got a course that you don't want to eat before, and then you end up eating at like 12 a.m. and you're eating whatever's left. So it's
You're
like,
just wishing for the days of the Chicken King in Camden Town.
yeah, how did you know?
I remember the Chicken King, and that was where everyone would go. So you go in there, but Cheryl Hole had her own booth. And you go into Chicken King and you get your chicken and chips, and it's not a healthy or sustainable way to eat.
No. So I went home thinking, well, I'm eating healthier, I'm eating hearty, like home cooked meals, this will be fine. Then I realised, when you're not in London, you don't walk half as much. You'll go on walks for like an hour a day, an hour and a half a day. But when you're in London, you're constantly walking. Like I didn't realise I like on average in London do like 20,000 steps a day. That's
Running around chasing the gigs.
please. That's just me running for my taxis.
But that's true, it's exercise. I was staying with a friend for all of lockdown, and he has a dog and a big house with a lot of stairs, so that was fine. I went back home after lockdown finished, weight came on, because I stuck in my little flat. You don't do that exercise. It's so strange, isn't it? Kitty, how did you find it? Did you find it?
Well, I got very into my couch to 5K. Thanks to Ophelia. Ophelia got me started.
Yeah, that was only recently though, wasn't it?
Well, it was 7 weeks ago. So
What is the couch to?
Oh, it's quite fabulous.
it is fabulous.
It helps you build up to doing 5K, like
5
running.
kilometres?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Like a run.
I thought you meant 5,000 steps a day, and I was like, that's not.
I'm building
I was like, go girl.
Because I never ran. Like I would if I would do something, I'd either like do a little bit at the gym or I'd go swimming. I liked swimming, but I'd never like being a person that liked running. I was like, no,
I would never do cardio. I would always I would do like weights. I would go swimming. I would do anything to avoid doing cardio. So when this all happened and the gyms closed down, I was like, well, there's not a lot I can do. So let's go a run. Let's see where we're at. It starts off very gently. It starts off with like you run for 90 seconds and then you walk for
60 seconds.
And they build it up. So yeah,
I lost like a stone, but like a stone of like lockdown weight. But so I'm still probably like 1 stone away from what I was originally. But like. It does come off.
Well done. I mean, I did start a program about 3 months ago now, but it was all resistance bands, so you girls are a bit too young. So those things you kind of throw over your roof rack to like keep your luggage on when you're going to Cornwall. Yeah, exactly. Trying to do that in a small flat, it's hysterical. I nearly damaged myself, the door frame, the TV, but it did work. It's slowly coming off, and now I've gone back to the gym finally. So it's kind of. Has anyone been back to the gym yet?
Believe it or not, somehow last year I actually started going to a gym. At the time I was living in Clapham, and I wanted to be installed with the Clapham arms that everyone else had. Nice big Clapham arms. I found out they were giving out these arms at the gym.
I've been there before. It's like a really good gin and tonic.
Yeah, they just post. So I was like, I'm going to go to the gym and then they'll give me my Clapham arms. And so I was really happy with myself. I was going quite often and I swear, I don't even think I lifted a fork up to my mouth during the entirety of lockdown. And I started going again a couple of weeks ago and discovered that I think I was less fit at the end of lockdown than I was at the start of going to the gym last year after 30 years of no fitness whatsoever. It was kind of incredible.
Well, I think you all are looking fabulous, and I think we're on our way to success. Our next subject, well, is a bit of a reappraisal of yourselves. Have you been staring in the mirror for too long at home? Have you been considering plastic surgery and something altered, pumped up or sucked out? I know I have. But I'm going to ask the loosely baked divas if they have considered surgery at all. So, girls,
Yes.
fess up. Have you been considering having anything changed about yourself this year?
Yes.
Yes. My bank account. Oh my God. That could really change right now. Thank you very much.
All the way up.
All the way up.
No, have you ever considered having anything done? So the only full confession I have done, I've had a hair transplant. Obviously not a hairpiece.
Wow, it's so thick.
It's very cool.
And it was the best decision of my entire life and career. completely, and I think look at it as corrective than vanity, I suppose. Sorry, vanity. But I feel very attacked.
It's about personal maintenance for a lot of people, isn't it?
Hello.
This is what I think. I think, like, because I am a big fan of Botox, getting yourself a little, like, every 6 months or so.
Have you had any?
Yes.
Okay, cute.
But the way I see it is that it's preventative. That it's like, well,
He's saying I should have started a long time ago.
everyone needs to start when they're 25 or younger. No,
should have done
but
it.
I enjoy it. I like the way it makes my skin look. I like the effects. I don't have any side effects. It's so like low, because everyone's like, oh no, you're injecting yourself with poison, but it's not. It's such a like diluted result, and I have it like
Diluted poison.
Diluted. It's diluted poison, and it doesn't hurt anyone. So I'm a big fan of that. But I think with surgery and like procedures, I think if it makes you happy, I don't see there's anything wrong with that.
I just think this year, I think it's just made us all very self-aware, hasn't it? And I'm just wondering if there's going to be a big rise in surgery cases, because I think people will be worried about weight, worried about aging more. I feel like I aged more in lockdown than I did any other point in my life. In the 6 months, I feel like I've doubled my age.
My doctor so I was getting my Botox done last week. My surgeon said that they had to have more Botox literally shipped in because so many people had gone like...
For you?
I looked like a mess, imagine. Very rude, very degrading. They had to have more Botox shipped in because so many people were coming back being like, I need it done like right now, because everyone's gone for so long without having it done that it's like...
And of course the government keep telling us that we need to spend, we need to reboot the economy. In the immortal words of Dolly Parton, God did not make plastic surgeons so they could starve. We wouldn't want them out on the streets now, would we? What would Kitty do?
Exactly. It's
Do you know, it's strange. I feel almost the opposite way. I was slightly preoccupied because obviously we spend a little bit of time with our faces. Well, it doesn't everyone, but we spend a little time looking at our faces to get ready for performing. And so I was very perturbed by two lines that I have in my forehead, which are my thinking lines, as opposed to my snorting ones. And I was always very aware of them. And actually, over lockdown, I've become less bothered. So I've gone the other way. I just don't care.
Just all stop looking in the mirror.
I just started using crayons and
No, I agree. I was the same during lockdown as well. It was more about like self-preservation, like my mental health. I think more than my body, because I just ate loads because I wasn't with my mom and we were just cooking together. Like, so it was really it was fattening. But I agree. Like, I don't like if you want to change, like it's totally fine as long as it's like healthy for you. It's all about health.
The body can be a gateway to a lot of because it's our vessel, and it's how we are. How we want to be. We want to be healthy and feel good and look good. So I totally get that it's the starting point of a lot of wellness. We want to eat well. We want to do a bit of fitness. We want to indulge our senses, and we also want to look and feel a certain way. But I felt I'd almost let go of it a little bit.
That's good. I think that's good. I had the same problem with the lines, but it's more, again, it's not, that's to do with me as Bunny Galore. The hair transplant was me as myself, because that was, I felt over the years I'd done a lot of work on this creature, but I hadn't really put the work in on myself. And of course, once you start to age a bit, things start to go a little bit. So, and I hadn't realised, I hadn't done that same preservation or self-love on me. I realised how much money I've spent on her. It's funny, it's schizophrenic. Talking about it there.
Definitely, my skin was breathing more because I wasn't doing much drag.
Oh my god!
So like my skin felt so good. I literally was like, like it was beautiful. That was one of my favorite things during lockdown.
Yeah. I came back with. Oh, sorry, Ophelia.
It's okay. No, you go on.
I hate to interrupt you to talk about myself.
It's fine. Go on, please. Be my guest. No, I think I would definitely, if finances were in a little bit of a better place, which after lockdown they are not, I would definitely do it to make myself feel better. I wouldn't have anything like major done, like I wouldn't have any like operation as such. I just a bit of Botox, a little bit of filler, just like puff it all back up a little
But
bit.
non-invasive, it doesn't
Yeah,
have
a little bit
any-
Exactly, non-invasive. Do you think also it's if you've not done it yet, it seems a lot scarier? Perhaps we're a bit nervous of having something done for the first time.
I think having seen Kitty, I'm okay.
Me too.
Have you seen it? You've seen her get it done?
Oh,
Oh no, just seeing her
Imagine.
face.
The transformation.
That'll put me off. No, like I think, like, but before I was a bit like, oh, I don't know what I want Botox, because like, I mean, I'm still fairly young and I don't have that many lines and wrinkles and stuff.
Thanks,
but
Matt.
it's okay. But I would like now, because going forward, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get the lines and then have to have a lot more. So I'd rather just start it, have a little bit of like, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then just, see how it goes.
As well, I was literally saying to my friend the other day, I am so scared of needles. Like, whenever you have to go, so I had a flu jab last week. I psyched myself up so much that I was so scared of like injections and everything that I was like, I can't do it. But then as soon as it's like here in my face, because I can't see it, and it literally feels like you're having your eyebrows
Yeah, also
done.
you want it.
Really?
I think because you want it done. No one really wants to have a flu jab. Well, I mean, it's good for you, but no one really wants to have a flu jab, whereas you're choosing to have the Botox. So then you're probably like more chilled.
You're going to be an anti-vaxxer, aren't you? You get that bloody
That's a new drag
vaccine
name,
away from
anti-vax.
Oh, well, I think we're doing well, girls, and I look fantastic for 150. Moving on, there's been just the 1 or 2 episodes of Drag Race this year. Now, I think, if I remember this right, there's been season 12, All Stars 5, I've got that right? Celebrity Drag Race, mini-season, Canada, fabulous, and now Holland. So, girls, have you watched any of these hours and hours and hours of television?
I think it's easier if I say what I didn't watch. So I didn't watch the Celebrity edition, and I've not been watching Holland, Drag Race Holland, just because I'm sure they all look amazing.
Yeah,
they all look incredible, but it's a lot. Excuse me. Something to say.
We'll get to that as a pin in that a second, Ophelia.
Ophelia's opinions.
I just find it a lot to have to read the subtitles and then see what's on the screen, and it's like you can't get the flow.
Vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fast-moving show. I have to say, I've watched episode 1. I find it quite hard to watch Holland, same as, was it Thailand before that? I know it's a different title, but because it's so fast-moving, I hadn't realised how fast it was. I find it hard to watch that. It did help watching season 12 and All Stars 5 in lockdown, because it was the one part of the week where I felt vaguely part of my normal world, I guess. So, so look-wise, what were you thinking, Ophelia?
No, I watched them all. I've watched them all purely because I had nothing better to do. And I absolutely loved season 12. I thought season 12 was so good, and I loved Canada.
Loved Canada.
I think those two were like the standouts of the seasons that we've had. Drag Race Holland, I just think the format's a little bit odd. From the ones I've watched, the main challenge doesn't really count.
Right.
And it's all about the runway. But then sometimes they go back to the main challenge.
But isn't it always about the runway? I think, watching the show, I'm always like, if you do really well on the runway, sometimes everything else is negated.
Yeah, but I feel like if you do really badly in the challenge, the runway might not always save you.
Fair.
So, but this is like, they don't really talk about the challenge at all.
Oh.
Unless they bring it up almost like it was a mini challenge, but they do a mini challenge as well. So it was a little bit odd. There's some really good queens on it. There's some like...
I think they look amazing. I found it very hard to follow, though. I couldn't cope with that. On the other hand, Canada, I have to say, I think it's been my favourite season, apart from the UK one, obviously, for a long, long time, because it's kind of how I envisioned UK Drag Race to be, if Rupaul and Michelle didn't come over and do it. So it was kind of, and it was more, I guess the queens are more real. They were kind of proper artists, I feel. They're kind of from different genre of artists, I should say. Not that I'm discounting the Americans, but that's the American style of doing drag. It was nice to see a lot more people represented on the show, I guess.
I feel like with Canada and with the UK, because Drag Race hadn't come over here, although people will have started Drag Race because of Drag Race, it like until they announced it was happening here in Canada, people were doing drag because they loved it rather than doing drag to get on the show. Whereas I feel like that's sometimes what happens in America. They do drag with only to be on Drag Race, whereas with Canada and UK, because it didn't seem like a viable option when a lot of them probably started.
Yeah, that's true.
Then they're doing it because they love it. I think that's why UK and Canada worked really well.
Yeah, that really, really, really true. And I think that shines through as a proper legitimate artist. I think, not that I'm, slagging somebody off just because they want to be famous, they want to be on a reality show. That's fine, but you don't have to do drag to do that. And I've seen it more with artists in the business who aren't in drag, but they say they're comedians or singers, and then they start doing drag. Oh, that's a surprise. I wonder why you're doing that. Yeah. It's not because you want to do drag, it's because you want to be famous.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing with things that are so, of the zeitgeist and so fashionable. Because I don't actually watch Drag Race, and I never have. I have seen bits, obviously. Oh, I did watch the British show. And my main takeaway was, and I wonder what you guys will make of this, I think that while I quite enjoyed the British show, I think it's because camp, the way we present camp in Britain, is quite cynical. Mm-hmm. Whereas the way that camp manifests in the American culture is quite infantilizing, and it's very innocent and there's a kind of sense of sort of the essence of the child to it. Whereas over here it's a bit more sucking on a fag, it's a bit darker.
Grittier.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's not a show that, I'd rather watch a bit of Downton Abbey if I want to see some camp old dame, that's something a bit stately in its pace. Exactly. I find it just a bit too snappy and quick.
Yeah, I agree. I still remember, actually, good question. I remember seeing it when it came on E4 here, when it first came out, which is season 1 and 2. Yeah. And it was such a shock to the system. Obviously, we were obsessed with it in theatre in the West End. We were obsessed with it. And I think because they showed it quite a few nights of the week, so you could, maybe twice a week, I can't remember. So we were kind of really obsessed with it because of that and the campery of it. But it was so different. Like the runway, you're talking about a runway. I remember looking at that's the most alien thing I've ever seen in my life, to walk a catwalk as a drag queen. This is before I started, presenting horror films. I'm used to go to the close-up. It was just like, well, why would I do that? Why would you want to walk a cat? Now it feels so normal that I catch myself going, oh yeah, well I would probably wear,
And it's also part of it's also part of ballroom culture, which is very much like,
yes.
I think when you look at Drag Race as an institution, it's very American. And I think when they had to bring it over here and Holland and everything, they have to inject what the nationality of it all is. Yeah. And I think the beauty of what happened with UK Drag Race for me was it was grittier. It was a bunch of really funny queens, which you don't get a chance to see so much on American Drag Race, it's really sad because it's like there are some hilarious queens in America, but it was great to see that they did specifically introduce in the UK funny camp queens that are gonna give you a show. Yeah. And that's what we want to see. So I was glad that the lineup was, personally, I wish there were more POCs, but that's just me. But I can't talk pop. But personally, that's just me. So thank you.
For you.
Dub that in.
But I think the beauty was it did showcase that. I haven't seen Holland. I did see All Stars. So it was great, and I love that Priyanka won Canada. I was like, that's incredible to see representation from my background. So it was like, yes.
She's amazing. So good. I was a huge fan of Jimbo from day one, and I thought nobody else would be into this craziness. And then I've never seen such an explosion like that since Sharon Needles. When someone comes along, kind of changes the game for everybody. So I'm very grateful. Being part clown myself.
I think it's again what you grew up with as well, because I grew up watching America's Next Top Model and Project Runway, and they were I was obsessed. Obviously, America's Next Top Model, it has a lot of problematic errors, but it was what I grew up watching. It was I loved it. That was
it became the format.
Yeah, but then that translated to Drag Race. So the Drag Race format then kind of automatically made sense to me, because that was my point of reference. So, and I feel there's bits in both shows that work and don't work. But I feel to make it a TV show and to make it commercial, which it has to be, otherwise they don't make money, they have to do those things that we're sometimes really? They should be, as a TV show that pride themselves on being groundbreaking. They should be more groundbreaking in certain areas.
Yeah.
But I feel like not a lot of us would be here and earning the money that we do if it wasn't for that.
Oh, yes, it changed the game. I'm really grateful for it. I felt like I was the only person with a lace front wig for many years. And then I've just seen this swell. And what's that? Sorry. You've seen the difference, and I've seen this tidal wave of new talent come along, and I love the new tidal wave. The fact they're all skinnier and prettier and can sing better than me, I hate. Anyway, darlings, well, thank you for joining me on the first show. That was very exciting.
So much.
And join us at home for the next Loosely Baked from us. Goodbye.